16, maybe 17 house guests are in the Big Brother house right now, probably sleeping before they have an HOH competition today on Wednesday, July 9th. But that doesn't stop us from all the pre-game shenanigans and talking and predicting all the different people, who they're going to be on the season and where they're going to rank up by the end of BB27. It is time for the predictions, and it's time for me to go through my first preseason power ranking. We'll have another one out Friday after we get the first episode vibes. Stuff might not change, stuff may change, but tonight and today, we don't know anything besides the cast interview videos, and I'm just excited to get into my power ranking 16-1, and then talk about who is likely the mystery house guest at the end of this video. We know BB AI Arena is coming back as BB Blockbuster. We know that these are 16 house guests that have never played Big Brother before, and they have a varying degree of knowledge of Big Brother. Some people I think are going to shine, some people I think aren't. Let's just get out of the way and start with number 16. Who do I think could be the first boot this week? Amy. Amy in her interviews, 43 years old, was very much about an all-women's alliance and that type of stuff. And I worry that the women on this cast, the girls on this cast, especially girls would be looking for showmances on this cast, are going to be wanting to pair up with guys and work with guys. So having an older woman being so gung-ho about all women's early on might get leaked out to some of the guys. And if we have a guy HOH first, Amy's sloppiness could get her into an easy nom, not going to win the BB Blockbuster competition Thursday night, and find her out the door as an easy vote out come not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Just my gut tells me Amy is potential first boot material, but if she does survive and she surrounds herself with a strong women's alliance, then Amy could make a far run. I don't know if I see that with this cast, and she didn't give me that much charisma in her interviews to make me think that she's going to gel with everybody very well in this cast. Another person at number 15 that did not gel at all in their, interviews was Kelly. Kelly came across as somebody who has never seen Big Brother and is just not going to gel well, did not have great charisma, kind of gave awkward answers in some part. If she skates by the first few weeks, she might become a floater, but there were so many red flags about hiding the fact she's a web designer, telling people she doesn't, that she, nothing about her story about traveling the world, just trying to kill people with kindness. That might be a floater strategy that could get you around jury time, but I think in the early game with some of the more charismatic people around, I don't think that Kelly has much of a chance in this game. I think week 1, week 2, week 3 are going to be the times where we see Kelly probably on the block and at risk, and I think likely going home, because as she said, she also is very clumsy and not good at competition, so not really a competitive spirit there, not really a good competitor, not really looking for a good social game with the charisma she had. Maybe I'll be wrong, maybe Kelly will end up being a star of the season, but from her 4.5-minute interview alone, I saw nothing but giant red flags. Number 14, Jimmy. I think Jimmy is somebody who could make a deep, big run if he gets put into the right place. He says he wants to join a big alliance, but doesn't want to make things himself. But he just has that kind of, anti-charisma that I think can just turn people off in this house. He's very, very aggressive and loud in some ways in terms of not being afraid to, at least in the interviews, sorry, just waking up, throw haymakers and stuff. But that doesn't mean that Jimmy can't win this game. I think, if Jimmy finds himself in a big alliance, if he does have a lot more social capital and much more social ability than I saw in the interview, which is always possible, he can find himself in a similar position to, say, like an Andy Herron from BB 15. And I'm not just stereotyping him being gay and Andy being gay that way. He just strikes me as somebody who's to be smarter. He's a AI strategist, a business strategist, and he seems like he knows the Big Brother game a little bit more than some people. So he will probably have a chance, if he's in the right position, of knowing when to make the right moves. The question is going to be for me is, who is going to be Jimmy's alliance partners and who's going to be bringing Jimmy in? And I'm not sure if I see that fully in the house right now. Maybe Will will do it. We'll talk about Will later on, but that's my issue for Jimmy right now and why I think I have him more of a pre-jury type role. Next up, power ranking wise, is Zay. Now, Zay may make jury and go further in the game, but he has not seen Big Brother. He is basically there for the comps, and he just wants to be a hero. I think that's perfect ammo for somebody who may make a run as a comp person, but will have zero chance at winning. And that's why I kind of have him around 13, because I don't see him having a chance at winning this game. He did have some charisma to him, but I think he'll be generally safe the first few weeks. But I don't know if I saw somebody who understands how to play the game, making moves, and is going to be able to position themselves and get through some of these much stronger game players and strategy to make it to the end. Now, maybe he'll learn as he goes, but we'll have to see. I'm not exactly too positive about Zay making it that far in the game, or if he does make it that far, knowing how to win. And I think that's the big reason why he's ranked so low, because I just don't see him as a person who I think knows how to win. Number 12, man, she's going to be so fun in the DR, but it is Ava. Ava, the aura painter. She is going to paint and talk about all the auras of the house guests. Her interview was sassy, the comments about, like, no showmans for me. I have a boyfriend at home, but even if I did it, my type of guy won't even pass the background check to get into the house. Talking about her boots, she was so sassy, she was so energetic. I think she's going to be a DR fan favorite in a lot of ways, but I do think she's going to have that New York sass, that New York firepower that may get her in trouble early in the game. She'll have to find ways to be in good social situations and pick up good alliances early on to keep her safe. And I just don't know of that very northeastern attitude with a very more Midwestern South-based cast is going to help find her in that way. Time will tell here. Maybe her and Ashley will bond, both being in the New York area, and that'll help keep Ava safe, but I don't know if I see Ava making it to the end. I love her play that she's broken. She wants $750K. She's going to be a blast in the whole entire house. But I have her ranked pretty low in my winner's chances right now at number 12. Number 11 is our young BB superfan that is so excited that he's here, that he will tell everybody about them, and that is Adrian. Adrian is supposedly the best Big Brother player to ever play Big Brother. Until now. He is the best fan. He has made the wall comp, which I have seen confirmed on Twitter. He is all over the place at his interview. He is so excited. He is so hyped up. And that is why I have him so low here at number 11. I think his energy and his excitement levels are going to be too high. As much as he thinks he knows everything about the game, I think that could push people the wrong way. And I don't know if he has the self-awareness of himself to be able to control these emotions and this excitement to make smart moves and stuff like that. I mean, we saw Quinn last year, super smart, super excited, playing up for the cameras nonstop, and I think Adrian's going to be that way too. And it's just going to be a roadblock at some point that will get him out. Maybe he'll settle down more and be kind of like a Corey, but even Corey ended up having his winner's chances kind of gone by just snitching and playing too early of a backstabby type game, and it blew up in his face, and it kind of gave power right back to Matt and Jag at BB25. If we see that Adrian's a lot more calm of a person, he's socializing well, and he's not outpouring his BB knowledge, then yeah, maybe he has a chance to go forward and make a run at this game. But I don't see this kid keeping his mouth shut, and I just think he's going to be talky. So much that the house guests are going to be happy to just boot him out right around the time jury starts or right before jury starts. You're the mid gamer, Adrian. You're the mid gamer. Number 10 for me is Lauren. Lauren gives off America vibes from BB25, talking about not wanting to be too, fast into the game and just kind of laying back. A really big super fan. She knows all the stuff about the house, but I do worry she's going to come in kind of like a lot of people do that are super fans and not play hard early and miss out on the alliance vote or not. Lauren's also our youngest person at 22 in the cast. And I just think that she is going to not have much endgame winning potential. She strikes me as very young and a little bit shy and reserved. I don't know how much she'll be willing to make game moves in different ways at first. With that being said, there's also a world where she comes out and surprises in her knowledge and she gets kind of the taste for blood and she's able to play up to that game. But I do think her inexperience, I do think her waiting to really put herself into the game will be a big hindrance in getting into an early alliance that can end up running this game throughout and making a deep run. It's why I kind of have her right around the start of jury spot. I do think she can make a far run if she ends up in a showmance with the right guy. If she does find herself kind of in a cool kids alliance themselves that runs the house, I just don't necessarily know what her winning potential is, and that's kind of why I have Lauren at number 10. Number 9 is somebody who I think is going to be very popular for some and very controversial for most others, and that is Riley. Riley surprised me with his interviews. He seemed like he had good charisma. He doesn't know the game very much at all, I feel, so I don't think he's somebody that I put much stock in being a big game player that will understand the game, kind of even like a Jag who, stuff like that. But I just don't see him being a big game player like that. But I do see him being a very big Southern charming guy for a lot of the Southern people in the house. We got people from Atlanta. We got people from Louisiana, Texas, Georgia. There's a lot of people down south this season, and I think that's going to help keep Riley in the house when I think most of us are thinking first boot. Riley, I'm putting kind of right in that Cowboy Caleb spot. Might make the jury. I don't see much endgame potential unless he finds himself with the right alliance and the right people, and it just becomes a likable person with a likable story for them. I need to see more from Riley to understand that, but only time will tell. But the Southern charmness and the charisma from the interview gives me enough of a feel that I don't think he's going to be a first few boots. I have him kind of in that 9th place. I think the Southern Cowboy charm will work pretty well here in the Big Brother house. Number 8, Keanu. I think a lot of people are going to have Keanu as a favorite. He's clearly understands some of the older seasons of Big Brother. He's going to be, I think, a pretty charismatic social guy, and he might be good at some of the more physical comps as well as maybe the more mental, memory comps coming from being a dungeon master who has to memorize a lot of information for D&D campaigns. But I do think Keanu's biggest issue is going to be trusting people too much, like he said is his biggest weakness. And I just think his physical appearance, nobody's going to let that guy potentially get to the end. I see him kind of as an early jury boot whenever he gets the chance to be backdoored. He's a very likable person. I think he'll find himself in a good alliance early on a good position. I think he'll understand moves more, but I don't think his strategy level is going to be as good as some of the top people on this cast. And I just think his threat level from his appearance may just be too much to get him to the end. We'll have to see if that's the case. I'm not entirely sure, but I liked Keanu a lot. I'll be honest, Keanu is one of my favorite players and favorite interviewers. So if it comes on the Josh rating scale, Keanu's like in my top 3 of people I'm rooting for. But I just don't know if he's. I would love it if he can be a winner. I would love that story. I would love to see somebody like him be able to pull off the charisma, pull off the comp ability and stuff like that. But he just looks like a walking threat. And I think looking like a walking threat in the Big Brother house will at some point get you out, especially early in the game. If the wrong people get HOH early and they want to take out comp threats, I think Keanu might be an easy early target. Number 7 is the oldest member of the cast so far, which is Will. Clifford is his real name, but he goes Clifford Williams, but he goes by Will, Captain Will. And I loved his charisma, man. This guy breathes charisma, and I just thought was a big ball of joy. I said Keanu's in my top 3. Will's my number 1. I loved Will's interview. I loved Will's energy. I loved Will's coming in with strategy for the game. I love Will being just honest, like, hey, I might have just turned 50, but I ain't old. I am young. I am energetic, and I'm going to be just as cool as some of the younger guys out there where I can be. I'm not fully bought in on a strategy of 5 people yet, making a sorting roster. I do worry a little bit early on if he's going to be a little bit too aggressive in making alliances and making talks. But I do think his charisma and his just general, aura, if we're talking about Ava's sake, is going to be pretty positive overall. And I think a lot of people in the house are going to like him and are going to warm up to him. He's going to have that cool uncle or cool dad type vibes for a lot of people. And I just think that he is going to just do very well. He's ex-military, served campaigns in the Iraqi war. I don't think is going to be bothered by being alone in the house or having to work with people that he may not like, but it's because he has to. He has a good front of just being a guy with a podcast, which is pretty obvious this day of people who do stuff like that. I just liked Will's whole entire, interview outside of maybe his basic strategy talk. He just seems like a great ball of charisma. I think he's going to get along with people. I think he's going to bring good vibes. I don't think people are going to think too negatively of him until jury kind of starts. But I do think once jury kind of starts, he's going to potentially be seen as a threat because he does have that army and cop body. Definitely army body that is like, dude, this guy probably does CrossFit. Like, he's that buff looking and stuff like that. But I look forward to seeing Will on the feeds, on the cast. If he's looking to do stuff early, man, he might be our, Izzy and Suri of this season. Our fast early cast players. Somebody who's going to make feeds life great. So we'll just have to see what that's like. I have him here at number 7. Be great to see him be the oldest Houseguest to ever win. I don't know if he will, but I like Will. Will, you're one of my favorites. Number 6 is Zach. Yes, he is a Matt Hardman clone, kind of coming back from last year. He's a competitive ex-professional baseball player. He's not going to lie about anything, which I do like. I think that's authentic. I think that will attract people to him. Will he be like Matt and just be coming out too early in the game and get kind of lost into a showmance and become a threat? Or will he be able just to not be like Matt and just fade in the background and then become kind of just a nice social player that could make a deep comp run? Time will tell, but I learned my lesson from last year. This archetype player is not my number 1. It's not my number 2 this year with this cast. So Zach here falls at number 6. He clearly wasn't the biggest fan of Big Brother. He doesn't know much about the game, so I have him kind of lower for that. But I do think he's going to find himself, charismatically with a decent alliance. I think he's somebody that people are going to want to bring in, especially when they hear he's an athlete. If he makes it through the first couple of weeks, he'll be seen as an asset for some type of alliance as a comp beast. Wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe match up with Will's starting 5. And be the athlete comp person there, but only time will tell. I'm a little bit higher on Zach than I think some people are. I see him kind of floating and working his way near the end of the game. Question is will he understand the game and be likable enough to win it, or will he be kind of like a jury-style boot or, somewhere around there? I guess only time will tell, but I have Zach at number 6 right now in my initial power rankings. Number 5 is Mickey. Mickey from the poster looks like a badass that is going to win Big Brother 27. I put her on the thumbnail for that reason as the winner, and she didn't disappoint fully in her interviews. Coming from, Atlanta, Georgia, an event coordinator. She has a lot of firepower. She has a lot of spunk. She has a lot of, I think, intelligence behind her answers. But the charisma wasn't as much there as I thought it might be at first. Maybe we'll see things change in the house. I do think if Mickey gets towards the middle and late game, she's going to be a very dangerous player and somebody who could have a lot of upside to win. But I don't know if Mickey's going to make it that far. I can see Mickey being an early jury boot or even a pre-jury boot if things go kind of wrong and the wrong people get rubbed the wrong way from kind of her not perfect charisma overall. But man, does she have a look that kills, a look that appeals, and just a look that I'm ready to give $750,000 in some ways. But the charisma needs a little bit more improvement for me to move her up in my power rankings. Maybe that'll happen here come Friday and come next week, but time will tell. Number 4, my dark horse, Catherine. I think Catherine, despite being a younger individual, gave all the right answers and seems to have a really good soft temperament to herself. I don't think anybody's going to see her coming off as a threat, but I do think she's somebody who's going to be understanding the game and is ready to make a move when she gets power. If she gets power, that's going to be the big question, but she's giving me everything that we wanted Leah to be last season when it comes to wanting to make a move when the time comes right. Understanding the elements of the game more and being a little bit more laid back in her approach. She's somebody who I think is going to fall very well into this house, will potentially find herself into 1 or 2 decent alliances, and if she gets the power at the right time of the game, she's going to be willing to make big moves and make a spot in the game. What keeps her only at number 4 for me as my dark horse is because if she makes the big moves, what are the odds that they're the right moves that keep her safe going to the end, or the wrong moves that could be right in the eyes but will make her a target that will get her out before the final 2. I just loved her just kind of laid back comfort persona. She's somebody that I think people are going to want to chill with, that they're not going to find threatening, and I think she's just going to do a very good job camouflaging herself in this house with that kind of vibe and aura. I'm saying aura a lot, Ava. It's for you. And just make a very good deep run and have a shot at that $1 million. I don't see Catherine going anytime soon. I think she's going to be around for the long haul, and I do think she's going to be somebody to look out for on double eviction nights and or just late game HOHs to really make a swing and a stamp on the game, and I kind of love that. Number 3 is my gamer girl, Morgan. Number 2 in my ranking scales of who I'm rooting for. I loved Morgan's interview. I understand why she wants to hide the fact that she's a professional gamer, a Twitch streamer in some ways. Because you do get sometimes people out there who hear the word gamer and are just like, get them out. They know how to play games. Stuff like that. But she has great charisma, great personality. She's a little bit older, into her early 30s like myself, so I think she had a lot more life experience and is ready to break down the game and not have the big emotional attachments. She looks athletic enough that she could do very well on comps like the wall, anything to do with like a balance beam, any type of quick-witted running back and forth type comps. I think Morgan is going to be a big player in those, which are very popular sometimes in the early and mid game of Big Brother, as well as the end game, and sometimes as well. I think she's going to be somebody that people will bring in for alliances, because I just think she comes off as a very likable, nice person. I think when you're somebody who puts out content and Twitch streams, you're able to put out a friendly persona that is welcoming and brings people in, because that's what makes, I think, a lot of Twitch streamers successful, is when you're able to put out whether you want to call it an act, whether you want to call it a performance, a natural instinct to give out a reason why people want to be talking and involved with you. And I do think that's going to work to Morgan's advantage in this house and will put her in a good position in this game. I do think her knowledge of games and her knowledge of Big Brother will help her try and maybe make a move and be able to be a strategist in this game to make things of power. I wonder if eventually, her threat level will become too high because of that. People might come on and notice. But Morgan's somebody that I'm pretty well favoring in this game. I liked her energy. I liked kind of the whole package. This might be some personal bias because I'm a gamer myself, but I have Morgan solidly in that 3 spot. Would not be surprised to see if we're there on Final 2 night and she's on that couch looking to win $750,000. Number 2 is Mr. Unemployed Vince. Man, Vince just seemed like a cool guy. I bonded with that interview so well. So chill, so authentic. Just felt like a real person. Felt like somebody who's just going to connect with people with authenticity. Isn't going to come off too threatening. Has kind of a disarming look with the mustache. Kind of cool vibes, I think, for some people. I just think that Vince just has great charisma and a great chance to kind of hide in there and make a deep run. I think he understands the game well enough to know when and when not to make moves. I think he'll find himself in alliance as well. I don't think he's going to push the game too much forward, too hard, too early, like some other people might, which will be good camouflage for him. Will keep him off that block in the pre-jury phase. I also think when you look at all the guys here, he kind of fits that perfect level of he's going to have athletic threat to him. He's going to be good at comps in some ways. I think I would not be surprised to find out if Vince becomes like the end game comp beast that comps out and could take the win. But he's not the type that's going to be the first comp beast to go out, or the second comp beast to go out, or even the third comp guy beast to go out. He's kind of in that sweet 4th, 5th spot that when you peel back the onions and you take out other comp beasts, Vince might be right there in that final 6 when it's too late and he's able to pull off quiz comps, he's able to pull off any of the veto type comps and make his way to the end. I think he's going to be, with his age, the perfect player to institute age read strategy, which is to take out have comp beats taken out and make the final 6 so you can win all the POVs to the end. That's why Vince ranks so high. I think his charisma and his just authenticness is going to bring a lot of positive vibes about him. I think he's going to be well liked in the house, and if you win comps and are well liked, that is a recipe to winning Big Brother, in my opinion, and it's why he's the highest ranked guy in this house for me. I think he's going to have that really great vibes from people. I think he's going to have a chance to not be seen as a comp beast until later in the game when it's too late. And I just think that, if he gets to the end, he has a really good story that people are going to be happy to be giving him $750,000 for. Things may change. I'm known to be wrong about these top picks sometimes, but I got good vibes on Vince. He's my number 2. He's my top guy. Which leaves my number 1 Big Brother ranked player, and this is, I think, even close. I think this is the one time I came out of these interviews being like, oh, she's going to win this season. Like, I think she's going to easily win this season, and that is Ashley, the Georgetown lawyer who now lives in New York City practicing as an attorney. She knows the game. She knows how to lie. She has great energy. She has great charisma. She is going to be able to speak well coming from pageantry and lawyering backgrounds. She's super intelligent. She just has the whole package. She's kind of the right age at 25 to be able to connect with the 23-year-olds better, but also be able to connect to the 30, 33 and up crowd. I think she's going to have a good comp ability to win things like mental comps and every now and then POV when she needs to, per se. I think she kind of comes off as unthreatening in her appearance compared to some of the other people on the cast. So I think she might be somebody that people aren't going to, attack even later into this game. She's somebody who I think people might be happy taking to a Final 4 or Final 3 and not realize they have the Cobra just waiting to take them out and make Final 2 and win this money. She knows the game. She has the strategy elements of the game. She has the background for it. The charisma was off the charts in the interview. She just really gave off excellent, great vibes. It'll take somebody gunning ho on Ashley pre-jury, I feel, to stop her from winning this game, but I just see her getting into a good alliance, working that alliance and those people so well that benefit her, because she's not afraid to get her hands dirty to manipulate in this game. She's coming to win, and everything about her interview just gave positive winner energy. I loved Ashley in the interview. She's going to be a fun player to watch on feeds, a fun player to watch in this game, and is just somebody I think is a clear winner of this season to begin with. Now, things may change. These power rankings come out every Friday, so like and subscribe if you want to see them every Friday, and I'll be giving short updates as well. So maybe she will end up at number 1 overall. But for now, going into the Big Brother house, she has the crown of being my winner pick and my top-ranked Big Brother player of BB27 to start. It's okay, last year was Matt Hardman the first boot, so no pressure, Ashley. Just make it through week 1 and you've done better than my last one. But let's talk about these mystery 17th house guests, which seem to be confirmed in the house already from Hamster Watch and other people. All signs point to Rachel Riley. The map has the seasons on there that she was on The Amazing Race. The beach with the quartz, kind of floaters, maybe there's a life vest hiding around. The clock is kind of referencing, I think, her Big Brother seasons. You have the 9 of Hearts, which was her placement on her first season in Big Brother 12. It's Rachel Riley. Her cameo has been turned off. It's Rachel Riley. Now the question will be if she's actually playing this game, or if she's going to be the victim of the masked intruder with an accomplice in the house that will murder her come this weekend. And I think that's why we're not getting live feeds until Sunday's episodes ends, because I think it's going to end with Rachel Riley being murdered in the first HOH comp, and they want to hide that for all of us. I don't think Rachel's going to play. If Rachel does play, I don't see her winning this season, but we'll add her to the player ranking if she is a player on Friday, and if she makes it through the weekend and is playing the rest of the season, then we got 17 players to rank here come next week. Well, 16 because one person will be gone. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. I think the cast has some major potential in there. I do worry that they're going to be a little bit laid back in some ways, but there's enough firepower in here that I think are going to make some fun feeds, fun time, and it's going to be a great ride. So like and subscribe to be on that ride with me here. We'll be watching the live feeds come Sunday night when they turn back on, and tell me who are your winner predictions in the comments down below. Thank you for joining, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys all in this Big Brother year.